think it is something that annoys me more than anything when it comes to making videos. Literally anything. It is my #1 irritant. Look what I've got here. The Canon EOS R6. Now, it's been a while since I've used a Canon camera. About 18 months, just under 2 years ago, I switched to Sony cameras. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I shoot Sony, but there's no real reason for that. I used to use Canon, but I felt at the time when I switched that Sony cameras suited my needs more than Canon cameras did. But at work, we use Canon cameras, and we recently bought the Canon EOS R6, and I've not yet used it for video, and I need to figure out how to use it for video. So I'm gonna switch over to the EOS R6 and talk about what I wanted the rest of this video to be about, because I think it is something that annoys me more than anything when it comes to making videos. Literally anything. It is my #1 irritant. Let's get into it. So very quickly, just before we go any further, if you're new here to this channel, my name is Scott Edwards. I make all sorts of video, photography and tech related videos. So if they are the sorts of things you are interested in, consider clicking that little subscribe button just down below there and come and be a part of this community. So we are now shooting on the Canon EOS R6, and the lens I'm using is the EF 16-35 f4, so there might not be the same depth of field as I had when I was using this, because this is an f2.8, so you can get more of a depth of field, and I am shooting in C-Log, which I have never used before, so the colours might look completely off, but we're going to give it a go. I've tried to get it as similar as I can to this, so it will be very interesting to see how it does turn out, because I film in S-Log2 on the Sony A7C, sorry. So yeah, how does it look? It'll be interesting to find out. But anyway, let's get into the main reason behind this video, and that is these little things. Flippy screens on cameras. Flippy screens on cameras, as you all probably heard a lot of people on YouTube talk about, especially when you are filming video, are incredibly helpful, because you can put your screen in any position and be able to frame your shot nice and easily. They're perfect for when you're vlogging, because you can see yourself, you know what is in frame around you, and it just makes framing up your shots a lot simpler, as if, for example, your screen was stuck like that and you couldn't see yourself at all. However, when you are first getting used to using a flippy screen, like the ones on the latest Sony cameras or your Canon EOS R6, R5, whatever you use to shoot, it can be very distracting, and this brings in one big issue, and that is that it can be sometimes very easy to stare at the screen of your camera instead of straight down the lens while you are talking to the camera. What you want to be doing ideally when you are talking to the camera is looking straight down the lens of your camera. So right now you can see I'm looking straight down the lens, and you don't want to be looking at your screen, which sometimes it can be very easy to do, especially if you are getting used to using a flippy screen or you're new to recording videos, because if you look at the screen like I am right now, you're not looking that viewer directly in the eye. Whereas if you look directly down the lens, it feels more like a real connection, like you are talking to that person and looking them directly in the eye. And what that means when you do start to look down the barrel of the lens is it's more engaging for the viewer. Because again, if I look at the LCD screen on the EOS R6, it just looks like I'm looking straight past you, and it is very, very obvious. Whereas if I look straight down the barrel of the lens, it's more engaging for you, the viewer, because it looks like I'm looking directly into your eye, which it would be more like if we were actually in the same room talking to each other. So what you want to do is almost treat the barrel of the lens or the camera as if it is a real person, as if you are talking to someone real, even though you're not. You're talking to a camera, and it can take a lot of getting used to. Talking to a camera is very weird, and looking straight down the barrel of the lens takes a lot of getting used to, especially when you have the flippy screen to get used to. However, once you do get used to it and you treat the camera like a person, you talk to it like it is a real person, you are going to get much more engagement on your videos because it feels like the viewer is actually talking to you and engaging with you. And the other thing, and this is really weird when you think about it as well, if you are looking at the LCD screen when you are making your videos. So right now I'm looking at the LCD screen on my Sony a7C and I'm staring directly at myself talking to the camera. And that's really weird because you never look at yourself while you're talking. You're looking at who you are talking to. If I was looking at myself while I'm talking, that's really weird. Why would I want to look at myself while I'm talking? You want to look at who you're talking to. If you were in the same room as someone that you are talking to, you are interacting with them, you're looking at them. And it's the same with this. And if I'm looking at the LCD screen, it just looks really weird. And it does look like you're a beginner making videos. So even though it does take a lot of getting used to, it is hard not to get distracted and look at the LCD screen. Do your best to look down the barrel of the lens. And every time you are talking to the camera, really force yourself to look down the barrel of the lens. It will take a lot of getting used to, but it will make your videos more engaging. And while we're on this topic as well, it doesn't matter what camera you are filming on, always look directly down the lens of your camera. So if you are shooting on your phone, for example, and you're using the little selfie camera at the top, what people tend to do is they record a video and they're looking at the screen like this. So again, I'm looking at myself like this. Whereas if I look directly down the lens, which is at the top next to the little speaker grill, it looks more like you are engaging and interacting with that person. And the same goes for when you are using the cameras on the back of your phone as well. So right now I'm using the ultra wide camera on the iPhone 12 Pro, looking directly down the lens, and it looks like I'm interacting with you. Whereas if I was looking at the back of the phone, it's very obvious that I'm not looking. I don't really know where to look if I'm looking down here. And you want to, the point of video is you want to be engaging with the viewer as much as you possibly can. So yeah, it can be very distracting when you have an LCD screen. It's also very distracting when you're using the camera on your phone because your face appears on the screen and you don't really know where to look. If you're looking directly down the lens, which is right up here next to the speaker grill, you're gonna be interacting with that person much more. People will find your videos easier and more interesting to watch because it feels like you're interacting with them a little bit more. And it is difficult to do. It is weird to do when you're not used to it and you're not used to talking to a camera in general. But the more you can look down the lens of the camera and treat it like a real person, that's going to make a big difference to your videos. So yeah, just a little tip for the day, and hopefully it helps you out if you are making lots of videos and getting into making videos, because making videos is a lot of fun. What do we think of this Canon EOS R6 log footage? I've just done what I've told you not to do. I've looked directly down the LCD screen just because I can't figure out what it looks like. I'm gonna have to stick it on the computer and edit it. Hopefully it looks okay. I'm probably gonna have to mess around with it a lot more and make a lot more videos with this to get used to it. So yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you in the next one.